I'm your host, TVG Hero, and this is probably the second video on the channel. It's probably way overdue, but today we're going to be talking about the unsettling tragedy of Gojo. I think one thing that we need to understand is the way that Gege did Gojo is wrong. It's all about, I heard a lot of people say that it doesn't look believable, or it doesn't make sense because he hinted to all these things, or it looks like Sukuna was struggling, and these are all things that are true. But in hindsight, the way that Gojo's character is written it's written beautifully. For the first time, we get introspection and insecurity from Gojo, as he is the one who has been born to be the strongest. He didn't have a choice. Gojo's selfish desire is not to be the one that's always called on to fix something. And I think that's something that's very interesting, is that once we get to Gojo admitting that he would have lost to Sukuna, or he wanted to show him love, the power of love, and all these other philosophies that Gojo wanted to do to win, to show that he was the strongest, I think it's kind of poetic in essence. Gojo is one of the people who never was able to grieve their best friend, one of the people who constantly are reminded that they are alone. And I think what's unsettling the most about the way that Gojo went out is because it was off-screen. Gege took a gamble when he chose to make it an off-screen occurrence. And, personally, I will continue to read and I will continue to watch, but it's not something I can stomach the same or can look at the same. Sukuna was struggling. Without the 10 shadows, I don't think he would have bypassed infinity. Now, everyone can say that he was holding back, and technically, yeah, he would be. But then again, if Sukuna can't go all out because of infinity, then that doesn't mean that all of a sudden with the rest of the stuff he had, he could have killed Gojo, because he can't bypass infinity. And I've seen a lot of posts in the community posts, on people's community posts, and people are saying that just because a toddler has a knife doesn't mean that you can't kick the toddler and kill him. And I don't know what's going on in the community, but long story short, Sukuna and Gojo are the strongest. The reason why Sukuna went the Megami route, he insinuated he would have never been able to do that spatial slash of dismantle if it wasn't for Mahoraga. And I think the same way that Gojo said without 10 shadows, Sukuna probably still could have beat him. And people take these statements and they think, oh, well, one says they're stronger than the other, one says they're stronger than the other. And to be honest, it's probably both. Without Gojo, Sukuna would have never had done what he did in that fight. He would have never had reached that dismantle without having that template from Mahoraga to bypass the space between. And I think that's very, very important. No, I don't like how Gege did it. Like I told you guys, I'm just as mad as you guys are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the character is ruined. Now, I will say, for what Gege tried to pull, the believability is not there. That whole fight, Gojo fought Ajita, Mahoraga, and Sukuna at the same time. And so, even Sukuna admitted that a 60% or higher Hollow Purple would have killed him. And it's very interesting that this is the route that Gege chose to go. But Gojo is one of those people who has been cursed to be the strongest, cursed to be relied on, cursed to be the answer to everyone's problem. As soon as he was born, he changed the standard of Jujutsu society. And I think in the context of what Gojo, what he stands for, or what he is, it makes sense. The introspection that Gojo takes while he's in the afterlife with Nanami and Geto and Haibara and Yaga, it's something that's that's personal. Gojo never wanted to be in the position that he was in. He just tried to roll with the punches. And I think one thing about Gojo is that the selfish desire in him is probably that he wants to get his students to be stronger than him so that he doesn't have to be the strongest. So he doesn't have to take majority of the fault, majority of the luggage, the baggage, the weight on his shoulders. And I think Sukuna was able to relieve him of such. The only thing that Gojo really didn't like is that Sukuna couldn't go all out because of his infinity, because of that ability that he's zoned in on. And I think it paints parallels to Toji, because without Toji, Gojo would have never been where he was. And here we are with Sukuna. Without Gojo, Sukuna would have never been where he was in this current stage. And Gojo had taught him that and got acknowledgement from Sukuna. So in terms of arguments for who would be stronger, I will always lean towards Gojo because of portrayal and the statements that have been said while they were fighting. You know, and of course people can say that they all said that they would lose to each other, or Gojo said he wouldn't win. You know, it doesn't really change the facts. Maybe it's up to interpretation. And you know, that's the thing, is like either of us can lean towards one side or the other. But that's where I'm leaning towards. I hated the chapter for how he off-screened one of the most popular characters that we didn't get a lot of in-depth introspection from. Even when Geto died, that was amazing for Gojo's character. And then to see Kenjaku in his body as he come back, it's kind of disheartening to know that Gojo is dead. And the claim that he made to Kenjaku, I don't find it fair that anyone else besides Gojo is going to be able to kill Kenjaku. That's the way I feel, because in terms of Gojo's character, this is the full circle moment. You know, his best friend that he missed the most, this is the chance for him to feel that revenge. The way that he didn't do in the arc, the hidden inventory arc, when he said that, you know, I'm not angry because you died, it just feels right. But he did feel some way when he lost his best friend, and here's the full circle moment for him to rectify that, for him to not focus on being the strongest. But then again, maybe I'm misunderstanding Gojo. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just my opinion. I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all tune in for the next episode of whatever I'm going to upload. If you like what you see, leave that like. If you want to comment, tell me something. Tell me something nice, actually. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Y'all have a blessed day. Be easy.